was just like one of the scariest experiences I ever like encountered in my whole travel experience. Like that coronavirus. What's good? What's poppin', you guys? And welcome back to Toyosi TV. Okay, so I realized that I travel so much that I have so many stories to tell you guys, and so much story times and so much travel experiences that I'm about to convert it into Toyosi travel tales. I'll be releasing these on Tuesday, and I just want to share with you guys my experiences, because I feel like the only people that hear about these experiences is either my family and friends, and they're always laughing at me with these. So I'm just here to share with y'all, because I feel like I have traveled to a number of places and so much things have happened to me over these travel experiences that y'all just need to hear these, because whether it's a good laugh or whether y'all learning something or taking something from it, listen, y'all need to hear these, and I'm gonna lay it down on y'all. As you guys have seen, this January I took my Asian tour. So I went to Korea, I went to Tokyo, I went to Singapore, and I went to Bali. Cheapest way to get into any Asian country, especially from New York, is to go in through China. So my round trip ticket was like late $600 for me to go from here to Korea. But with those type of tickets with like the Chinese airlines, you always have to have a layover in China. So I knew I was going back to Korea because I studied abroad in Korea. If you guys haven't seen my South Korean abroad experience, definitely go watch it, because that series was lit. So I left New York December 30th and I got into Korea January 1st, 2020. What a crazy way to celebrate the new year in an airport. So I stayed in Beijing airport the first time for 14 hours, and then I was leaving Korea January 27th, and I was gonna reach back in New York January 28th. When I left Korea, I also had another layover in China in Beijing Capital Airport for 22 hours. But at the time when I had my layover, when I had the second layover coming back to New York, was when the coronavirus started. Like, and I kid you not, I think that the coronavirus literally wasn't a big thing when I left. I don't think that a lot of people back in America knew how bad the coronavirus was. Like, I remember the day that I was leaving, all my Korean friends was like, yo, you gotta make sure you wear a mask. Like, my two Korean best friends, you guys, if you guys didn't watch their video of them teaching you slang, definitely go watch that. My two Korean best friends, Irene and Madeline, they came to meet me at the airport, and they was like, make sure you have a mask on. They bought me like, Irene bought me like 2 other masks. She's like, yeah, wear this mask for like 4 hours, then change your mask. Like, it was so serious. Like, and I was just like, bro, I kid you not, like, I didn't see it like on my Instagram feed until I got back into New York. Like, that's how big the coronavirus was. Like, it was to the point where when I came back to New York, the coronavirus was on my feed every day. So when I left Korea, I didn't think it was a big deal. I'm like, I'm just gonna be in the airport. I'm not actually going into Beijing. Like, I stayed in the airport for 22 hours because, one, I think that Mandarin is hard to understand. 2, it's gonna be more money. I didn't get a visa to get into China, so I'm just gonna stay in the airport. But even my friends, like, I kid you not, all of the Korean friends I hung out with, even the Korean friends I didn't hang out with, and I knew during my study abroad experience, they was like, Toyosi, when are you going back? I told them I'm going back with Air China, because I had a flight back to New York with Air China. They was like, oh my gosh, like, why are you taking a Chinese airline? See if you get another flight. Like, we don't want you to go to China. We fear for you. We're scared for you. I'm like, yo, like, what kind of virus am I about to go into? Because I know back in America we got the flu, but you could definitely get the flu shot. So I'm like, it's probably like some type of cure for this virus. I didn't really realize that this thing was serious until my friend showed me like what was actually going on in China. And if you guys don't know, people who live in China have a whole separate social media than the people who live abroad. So it's not like they have Instagram. You need to download a VPN. So stuff that's happening in China, we won't really know unless somebody from inside China is exposing it. So my friend showed me a video that she found, like, I don't know, like, I guess like since China's so close to Korea, they were like I guess they got the news quicker. I don't know. But this, like, there was a guy that fainted on the street. When I seen that video, I kid you not, I was like, what? And then they were showing me like the symptoms, like when you catch coronavirus, like what happens like a few days if you don't go to the hospital. I was like, what is going on? So me, that's like, I'm skipping to the airport, like I'm about to go back to New York. But then I'm like, I have a layover. Like I was saying to myself, like, yo, for this whole 22-hour layover, I'm just gonna sleep. No, my friend was like, make sure you wash your hands every 20 minutes, make sure you don't give no eye contact, make sure you don't eat. So I'm like, should I starve? All my Korean friends put me on, like, till this day, still got my mask that I got that I bought in Korea. It's just like crazy. Like when I was at the airport, so literally we got on the airplane, and so my flight from Korea to China was an hour. So when we got on that plane, it was like, I was so scared. Like I was like, when I tell you my Korean friends instilled fear in me, like I was praying to God like every minute when I was on a plane. I remember when we went on the first flight, the flight from Korea to Beijing, I was just like, what the hell? Like the mask went on. So literally my mask was on like this the whole time. I actually had 2 masks. Like I had 2 masks when I was traveling from Korea back to New York. So when I wasn't eating, I ate like, cause I bought Korean snacks over, cause when my friends was telling me like, do not eat anything, I was like, let me rack up on my Korean noodles. Did not eat nothing in that airport. Everything I had in like my carry-on, and it was snacks from Korea. It was like every 2 seconds I was lifting this up, and I was like, like, I don't chew like that, but like you get my drift. You know the crazy thing is, there was mad people. Like I feel like at the time when I went, when we was in Beijing, there was mad people in the airport without mask on, and I was like, yo, and it was foreigners too. Like where the Koreans are telling me like this coronavirus is serious, I was like, where is y'all mask? So after 22 hours, yo, your girl was sleeping. I slept with a cover over my head because I know somebody just wanted to come cough in my face or something. Like, I was so scared. I just thank God that I'm back in New York City healthy, because that was just like one of the scariest experiences I ever like encountered in my whole travel experience. Like that coronavirus, I feel like the media makes it look worse than what it is, because when I was in Beijing, everybody was just calm. Like everybody was really calm, like to the point where people were walking around with no mask. So now I'm getting prepared for my flight to New York. I try to upgrade my seat, but if you ever go with Air China, I do not recommend Air China, because Air China is a crappy airline. You cannot upgrade your seat. You got to do it online prior. You can't do it at the airport. That airline is crappy. So now we going back to New York, and it's a 14-hour flight. Now it's serious. So the flight from Korea to China, flight attendants weren't even wearing masks. Like that's how crazy this was. So they weren't wearing masks, they weren't wearing gloves, and it was just like, they didn't really care either. So now when I got on the flight back to New York from Beijing, oh, them flight attendants had 2 masks on. Some lady even had a shower cap on, and then they were all wearing gloves. What had me so weak was that this lady, yo, she had me so weak. This lady sitting in the middle between me and some guy, so it was a 3-seater. I was sitting by the window. The lady sitting next to me did not want to have no type of eye contact with me. So me and her are both battling, looking at each other. Like me and her, like whenever like the lady would come for food, I would be like, so every time when I go like this, she thought that I was talking to her. So like she would turn to me, but I'll be like this, because they told me you cannot have eye contact with nobody. I was not looking at nobody. I wasn't with nothing. Nah, son. Flight attendants were looking at me. I was not looking them dead straight in the eye. I'll be like, no, I don't want anything. Like I was not taking no water. Like by the time I got off my 15-hour flight back to New York, I went straight to Dunkin' Donuts and got myself a bacon, egg, and cheese on a croissant, because I was so hungry. I didn't eat for 37 hours. It was crazy. I just felt like in China, the way people were making it seem wasn't the way Americans were making it seem like. And that's the thing that I like about traveling, is just that you gotta experience stuff for yourself, but do not experience the coronavirus for yourself. I kid you not, when I seen them flight attendants on a flight from Korea to China, I was just like, where's y'all mask? Like, the way that they were making it seem was like, yo, if you stay in that airport for more than 5 hours, you catching it. So I was just very cautious, and even when my mom came pick me up from the airport, she was just like, you okay, this, that, and the third. But I think that one of the craziest parts of this whole experience was when I finally got back to New York, and when I got off the airline, and then when I finally got back into customs line. When I got back into customs, it was like they were like asking they were asking a lot of questions, because I got off of a Chinese flight. So it was like I was online with a lot of Chinese people, but they were also American citizens. They were asking a lot of questions like, what were you doing 24 hours before? What were, like, how long were you in China? Like, it was so much questions, to the point where when it got to me, he literally asked me 3 questions and let me go. And I felt so bad, but at the same time, I was just like, damn, son, I kid you not, the way y'all Americans are making it seem, this coronavirus ain't that bad. Alright, it is bad. I'm lying. It really, nah, that thing is bad. From the videos that we've been seeing, I mean, thank God I didn't see nobody faint or pass out in front of me while I was in Beijing. But that 22-hour encounter, and I just feel like my whole journey back to New York was just a whole story in itself, and it was just crazy. I mean, it was an experience. Like, I could say that I experienced being in China during that time frame. Would I go back to China? I definitely would go back to China to experience it, but I feel like everybody's so scared and stuff like that. I don't feel like my mom would even want me to, I don't even think that, even if I buy a plane ticket, my mom wouldn't even let me go back to China or go back to Korea at this time frame. I would have to wait till things actually go down and like calm down and stuff like that. Because I heard that even when I was talking to my Korean friends, when I went, when I was texting them, they was like, masks are now like expensive. And I was like, these masks are expensive? Like, I got this for like probably like $3. She's saying masks are going for $5. So regardless of not, I'm not even trying to fight for masks, because I already be fighting for people to not look at me in Korea. So I'll probably go back in 2021, but until then, I'm gonna sit my little self in New York City and do my thing. I hope y'all enjoyed. My experience in Beijing was one for the books, and I thought it was a great experience, to be honest. Like, not a lot of people could say that they was in an airport or even in the country during the coronavirus outbreaks. I'm one of the lucky ones. One of the lucky ones. One of the lucky ones. Alright, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Also, comment down below, if you were in my position, what would you do? If you spent 22 hours in an airport during like a virus outbreak, it doesn't even have to be in China. Just imagine something like that. What would you have done? Comment that down below, and don't forget to subscribe. You know the vibes. When you subscribe, you know the vibes. And don't forget to hit that bell, and I will see you guys in the next story time. Bye.